I actually am not hating how this is looking.
All right, good morning. It is week 8 of working on the King Cooper for the Onyx Off-Road Build Challenge. We are to the point in the build where it looks done and a lot of the components we need are put in place and where they go, but we gotta finalize things. On the agenda for today is getting the trans tunnel put together. I'm gonna put Zach on that and I'll be helping him with it. And then I'm probably gonna get started on the power steering bracket and everything. Let's get into it. So the floor in here used to be all jagged and messed up. And Zach welded in all these pieces. He got our brake booster mount in, hydro boost mount in. And now we just need to close all that off. We'll get the steering pulled out again and start building the doghouse. Yeah.
Doghouse.
That's what they call it, a doghouse.
Oh.
Yeah.
Never heard that.
Okay.
Learn new things every day, I guess.
Yeah. Have you heard that before? Heard the trans tunnel called the doghouse? I mean, I've heard it before, but...
Usually, I just hear trans.
Oh. Alright, so the way that we're gonna seal this firewall is I actually have like an 1/8 of an inch by 2 inch strap here. It goes all the way up. This is our flange that we're gonna bolt the trans tunnel to. Still needs some strength there. But I got these pieces cut out and this will actually be the part that's removable. So I've already got one clamp to it and we'll drill holes through and we'll just bolt it and then we'll build our sheet metal off of these ones to go around. And then we'll have another flange come off where the, the actual tunnel is, or the doghouse. We just need to get this one in. All right, got them on, got the tops tacked in, and all these marks get drilled out for holes, right? There do. Exactly on drill duty. All right, bolts are in. Time to pull the clamps off. Nice. Pretty nice, I think. Okay, now we need to actually get it measured for sheet metal, get the sheet metal cut, and we'll go from there. All right, so we got this piece of cardboard cut out. I made some marks and threw a bend in it. And we're gonna see how it looks on the firewall. Just as I suspected. About 2 inches. Okay, trying again. Okay, that maybe could have been left long. Okay, this is what we need to make out of sheet metal now. Got our cardboard piece cut out of metal on our plasma table, bent it up the shape that it needed to be, and now we can tack it onto that flange that we just bolted together. How's that?
Good enough for who it's for.
Dang straight. Zach's welding up all the seams on that firewall cover there. And while he's doing that, I'm gonna start working on some more engine mods, like getting the power steering pump put into place. So over here, this is what I'm going with. So this is a type 2 power steering pump, like a high flow something or other, but it's specifically for hydro assist applications. So this is a hydraulic ram. When a steering input is put in to my box, it diverts flow into each side of this, opening or pushing and pulling this ram depending on what's needed to help steer. So regardless, we need to get this pump put in here somewhere. So I was thinking somewhere like in this area, but my vacuum pump is in the way. So we need to actually delete that first. And we'll unbolt it and see what it needs. You can keep welding, Zach. So yesterday got away from us a little bit. I got the vacuum pump pulled off. That's it right there. And there's a failure point. I don't know exactly where inside here, but yeah, they stop working all the time. So we're going to be deleting it. And it's also kind of in the way for our power steering. So the reason these cars had a vacuum pump on it originally was to run the brakes, run AC controls, run window locks or whatever, door locks or whatever. And we don't have any of that stuff anymore. But there is one thing that it controls that we still have, and that is the transmission. So the transmission has a vacuum modulator on it that controls how firm it shifts. And we're definitely going to want it there, because without it, it will just think that we're going like full throttle everywhere, and it's going to shift really hard and not be great. So we will be adding an electric vacuum pump back on. So that is right here. I think, I'm not sure exactly, but I am pretty sure that that came off of like a Volkswagen Jetta or something. So now that the vacuum pump is actually gone, we need a way to cover it up, because that just goes straight into the motor or the engine. So welded this together really quick, and this just goes on right just like that. Perfect. Bolted on. We kind of got carried away with how this dash was coming together, and it's been really hard to film it all. So let me tell you what we did. So in the floor, we ended up putting a 2-inch strap and drilling a bunch of holes in it and putting in thread zerts, or what are they? Riv nuts. That's what they call them, riv nuts. We're using that as our base flange for the firewall and trans tunnel or doghouse. The doghouse is completely removable. It unbolts in, what is it, 10 bolts? And then the firewall actually unbolts too in like 10 bolts as well. So on 20 bolts, after you pull the seats out and shifter and everything, you could have this all accessible. So the centerpiece actually still needs to all be welded up, and we're out of gas with all our welders, so we got to run down and get some. But then, I mean, then the interior can start really coming together. We can work on the rest of the floor, if that will ever get done. So we're gonna head down to Hurricane, get some gas for the welders, and we'll send Zach back up here, get us all welded up. I've got a Corvair to go work on. Gosh, sometimes on some projects, I'm just so captured by what I'm doing that I forget to film. And this is one of those. I've had a couple iterations of this power steering pump bracket, and this is finally what I've come up with, and it looks good. Look at it. So we're running this PSC pump because it's a really common style. The reason we had to move away from the stock power steering pump is because the reservoir, like the actual power steering reservoir, wasn't big enough. There wasn't really a good way to build an external reservoir for it. Like, let me show you. This is it right here. I don't know, I wanted to move to something more familiar to me, and that's what this pump is. So I know that pump's gonna be enough to run my Hydro Assist and my Hydro Boost brakes, whereas this one, I don't think it would have quite cut it. I've got it all tightened down right now with the belt on it. If you loosen up the mounting bolts for the pump, then you can adjust it, like pretty much how normal pumps are set up. Okay, so those are loosened up. And then all we have to do is tighten or loosen this upper bolt here. And it either tightens or loosens. See that? Pretty nifty, huh? Right there. That's where it feels good to me. And then you tighten down the bolts again, and it pinches everything together, and you don't have to worry about it coming loose. That's how the alternator bracket's set up as well. I also ended up getting the pump super low, which I love, because now I have a lot of room up here for other things like reservoirs and stuff like that. That was a ton of work to figure that out, and honestly, it's pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And hopefully it will continue to work.
We got the trans tunnel all welded in, and now we need the steering box to fit as well. So we cut a big hole out. Now it fits in there. We're gonna have to patch it up and seal it off again.
I actually am not hating how this is looking. It's definitely like, it's not intruding into the foot space as much as I thought. Considering the fire, or like the doghouse is there, it's 3 inches, 4 inches.
4 inches right there.
Right there, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the bracket that we build that covers this, probably just be that profile there. Nice. You put your foot on that or whatever you want. All right, so it's late. Everyone's gone home. It's actually currently like 11 p.m. I can't sleep. Look outside. Dark. Here, let me shine some lights. Dark. Nobody's here. And while we've been working on the interior of the Mini Cooper this whole time, like getting the firewall and the trans tunnel put in, I've been trying to figure out how to seal the floor. Because this is the seat mount and this is the transfer case. There's not a lot of room there. Plus I need the floor to be able to come out and so that we can access these transfer cases. No, it doesn't have to be that way, but that's how I want to do it. And this whole time I've been trying to figure out how I should seal it off good. And while I was thinking earlier today and looking at it, I think I figured it out. It's going to be pretty simple. What I need to do is make a little shelf that comes up and tapers down to that level. And then in the center here, it's going to have this cute little, basically another trans tunnel for the transfer cases. We'll probably give it about 3/4 to an inch of clearance there. And that way, it'll come and meet just underneath where these seat mounts are, seat brackets. And then after I build that little shelf, the sheet metal that can lay across the top of this and come into there, and we'll bolt it down, and that's how we're gonna do it. So we're just gonna have kind of a midnight jam session. So I'm gonna turn the music on, and we're just gonna get to work. 3, 2, 1, go. Got the floor cleaned up a little bit and ready to start putting, you know, pieces in. So I started by doing kind of like this, I don't know, pan floor, whatever wall here. So, and this is only welded to the body of the Mini Cooper so we can still separate the frame, because that is the frame rail right there. This side obviously comes out a lot farther than the other side because this has the transfer case drop on it. But this other side is quite a bit further in. So I've already got the wall up, and then I've also got a 2" by 8" flange here. I wish I had 1" by 8" stock, but I don't. I only have 2". So we'll get another one put on this driver's side here, right here, and then we can actually work on getting that piece in. And as soon as that's in, we can also figure out tying in this front piece here. This is probably just going to come down and terminate onto there, which is where this piece is also just going to terminate onto. So, super cool. So we've just been plugging away on this floor here. We've got both sides, so we've got this here and that wall here. And then for covering the back, we're just going to put a piece of metal behind here, but it's just going to basically cover all of that. So on the back of this car, there's going to be a lot of sheet metal work,
And I've been wanting to use my bead roller and see if I actually have what it takes to make decent pieces. So this is it right here. And what you do is you feed the metal in and it creates a nice little like ridge or bump. So I've spent the last hour or so building this. So you can see the raised edge in this piece here. And you do that a lot of times to make the piece of metal stronger. Without doing that, I mean, it's floppy like this. Like look at this. Floppy. This, rigid. It's rigid. So after fitting it in and out a couple times, I had to clear the output of the transfer case right there. Not bad, not bad. Had to put another ridge here. So let me put it in and I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, so right there. Perfect. So you could see the cross member here sits a little higher, so that's why I had to cut that out and step it up. But it fits pretty snug. So that looks good. Over there, this right here clears that. We made these seat brackets removable because I have to pull them out in order to get the transfer cases out anyway. So that was not really an issue. And we'll just bolt those back up. Nice and easy, and it clears that step right there. And then you can see underneath right here, this is the spot right by the output that needed to be cleared. So it's nice and clear now. The only thing left is to see if the seat actually fits in there and clears that panel. So perfect. And just like that, it's in. Obviously we need to bolt it down still, but minor things, minor things. Now obviously we need to work on getting this front section all filled in. But I'm gonna call it a night because it is 3 a.m. now, I think. Yep, 3 a.m. So we'll see you tomorrow.